Hello and welcome to Heart Shaped Box, the podcast. This week we are kicking off the week-long celebration of the Radar Festival in Manchester with one of the bands that excite me the most on the bill, Forager. So Nathan and Alex, how are you
Hello.
doing? You okay?
Yo.
Good
Hello,
to be here.
boys.
Hello.
How's your week been?
Been something, hasn't it?
It's been pretty mental.
Yeah.
We're quite a close-knit group in Forager world, and we've all just been on a week-long holiday to Greece together with our respective partners, which has been absolute fucking carnage. Alex, bless his cotton socks, had an absolute roller coaster of a week. Would you like me to regale the tale, or do you want to say it?
You can spice up a little bit, yeah.
All right. So the footnote really is Alex turned 30 at the beginning of the holiday, big 30. So obviously that's
Happy birthday for last week then.
Now. So he turned 30 on like the first day of holiday. Then 2 days later, he got horrendous food poisoning. horrendous food poisoning for 3 days.
In near 40-degree heat, it's been something.
And then on the last day, we had a big meal, and I shouted at everybody because I got a bit grumpy. And me and Alex's then girlfriend, and I emphasised the then girlfriend, had a bit of a fight, and we all made up. And then Alex proposed to his then girlfriend, meaning his now fiance. See, that's how
that was good. Yeah, I like that. I couldn't have done
that better. A story.
I was worried where their story was going then.
So yeah, absolute roller coaster of a week for Alex.
Yeah, just for me. It's been really boring.
Congratulations on the engagement as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah,
you bloody did it. You tricked her.
Yeah. Whole life.
Have you got a date set already, or is it?
No, not yet. So disappointed, but I'll just, it's not going to be for a little while yet. But yeah, rest assured, everyone who's listening to the podcast is invited to the ceremony. See you all out there.
We'll all take you up on that one. So holiday together, surely that is a recipe for disaster anyway. It's hard enough when it's just a couple, let alone when there's what five couples, is it?
Yeah. 10 of us, yeah.
Yeah. What did you do? Book out like a villa in?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Villa in Greece. We had a private pool. It was really sensible.
Lost. Yeah, it was sensible.
Really calm, sensible environment, very relaxing. No, it was wicked. It was really good. I had lots of fun in the sun.
I had boats. That was good.
Yeah, boats.
I finally got the boat ride. That whole Forager lore has been building up towards is the 10 of us getting on a boat.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, no, it was great, man. Really good.
How's your
week? I guess it was quite a nice. It's been good, it's been busy. My wife and kids have left me for the week and gone and they're staying in France. So I've been very busy, either working or with the podcast. So yeah, got rid of them for a while. They've done that. I did download, so that was kind of like the swap.
Nice. Yeah, we were at download this year as well. It was good.
Brilliant, wasn't it? I guess a week away though was quite nice for the relaxation of the calm before the storm of your new single coming out.
Yeah.
So does it take your mind away? Was it all kind of re-recorded and packaged off before you went on holiday, or was this stuff to kind of tie up once you got back?
It was pretty much all done. We're quite good for having things ready nowadays and having things kind of planned and sent off to where they need to be. Which is good. There's like, when we got back, there's like a little bit of like social media stuff to deal with, but that's kind of just as and when. But yeah, majority of it was done and dusted. So it was nice to just kind of go, and like I had my phone off for pretty much the entire week, which was very, very nice to just not have to deal with anything. So yeah, it was good. But yeah, excited for the single to come out.
Yeah, man.
Excited for the single to be out because it's out now.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
for the
yeah.
listeners, we are recording this a week before, so it is. You'll have this when it's out. So the single is now ready, and it's called Converse, and it will be on all streaming sites. So go once you finish listening to this podcast, make sure you go over and check out the new song.
Yeah, out.
Was there a lot of hard work going? Sorry.
No, nothing. I'm just being a clown.
I guess as well, how much work kind of goes into a single from someone who doesn't really obviously record music or anything? How long has it taken you to get this single into fruition, really?
It's been quite I mean, it started off ages ago when like Nathan recorded. I remember you just did a bit of an idea dump. Can't remember when it was though, but you threw in like there was like 6 or 8 songs all called like Adidas, like New Balance, Nike, and then yeah, Converse was the one that stuck, and it was like, oh, it's like the little placeholder. But I guess over its time and the lyrics and all the themes that have gone with that, which I would let Ollie explain, definitely not me because I have trouble remembering Twinkle Twinkle. It's just kind of like Converse really stuck with it, and I guess when we start recording this, like we did the drums last November.
Yeah, so we have quite a long production. What's the word? Quite a long production phase, which we need. Realistically, we need to speed it up a little bit. Like we sit on stuff for a long time. I write like kind of demos quite quickly and in quite a like big amount, and then they tend to mound up, and then we want to try and use as much as we can, and then we've got to sift through all the demos and figure out what we want to use and all this, and then yeah, I think we picked the 6 that we're using for this EP, and went to the studio with Bob Cooper, who's absolutely amazing. We recorded drums with him. We did vocals with our friend Matu, who's a producer, absolutely amazing producer and musician, and one of my bezies, so that's always nice. And then the guitars and bass we recorded ourselves, and just sent all the stems off to Bob to get it mixed and mastered, and that was end of last year, beginning of this year. Once everything's kind of done and dusted, we can get it pitched, get it sent off to streaming services kind of whenever, and then it's just accompanying that with like visual media and posts and social media and stuff like that, which can be fun if you're into that sort of thing.
Before we take a massive journey into kind of like the music and the new track, let's go back to the very beginning. Where did Forager start? How did you all meet?
Nathan is the ring bearer on this.
Yeah, this is me. So I guess the quickest way of doing this is we've all known each other kind of for a long time. Myself and Ollie, Ollie's the singer, we met in school in like year 7. So we've been friends for ages and ages and ages and ages. Alex and I met when I joined a band. I think I was like 15 and you were maybe 16. I joined a band in college called Orion. Shout out to Orion. Which some of the Radar fans will probably remember Orion.
The deep cut.
The deep cut. We were like a little instrumental. Well, we started off instrumental, didn't we? And then we got some vocalists down the way. Like a little Jun proggy
8-string
kind of thing. 8-string kind of deal.
Singing about spacey, wacy, timey wimey.
Yeah. And then Matt, the bassist, I met him at uni, and in turn we met Tom, the drummer.
I went to uni with.
I guess I kind of started Forager as a solo project. Oh, man, like ages ago, like maybe like 2018, 2019, and it was just like instrumental math rock. Then I got the rest of the guys involved to come and make it a bit more of a band, but again, it wasn't really anything serious. It was very like widdly twiddly. We released self-released a couple of EPs. We're doing bits and bobs, and then lockdown hit, and we kind of had a big shift, a big vibe shift from kind of being widdly, tappy, Midwest emo-y, with a bit of kind of rocky stuff going on. It was kind of like Biffy Clyro vibes at the time. And through lockdown, I think I just went a bit mental and was like, I can't be arsed writing really hard parts anymore. I just want to play riffs and be an idiot. So we kind of turned into a bit more hardcore, a bit more punky, kind of doing like playing more into, I think, our influences a little bit better. Like, we're all big metal guys. We're all big. Me and Ollie especially are really into hardcore. You know, we all grew up listening to, you know, like the new metal stuff and things like that. So I think we just kind of grew into our influences a bit better than what it was before. So depending on who asks and how much time we've got, people say, "Oh, when did it start?" And the full story is like 2018, if you want to really split hairs. But in its current iteration, it was what, like
2021,
2021, maybe
right at the end of it.
Right at the end of lockdown. Yeah, it's probably when I would, and it's also when we started taking it seriously. Like, that's when we were kind of like, we're actually going to make it a thing, and we're actually going to try a bit to make it like happen. Whereas before it was very floaty. So yeah.
What was both of your musical backgrounds before this? And you said you touched on it briefly, Orion and the band. Was it how far ago did you get into music, and when was it when you kind of wanted to get involved in music?
I mean, I knew I wanted to play in bands, or at least play guitar, since I was like 9 years old. When I first saw an episode of The Simpsons with Aerosmith on it, the Flaming Moe's one, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool music!" Like, because before then it was just sounds, maybe like the, I don't know, Mambo Number 5 or something like that. I just heard on like SMTV Live in the mornings, but then I heard that episode of The Simpsons. I was like, "Oh, there's rock music. This is kind of cool." And then I think from then I just suddenly somewhere heard, it was like Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. I was like, this is so cool. Like, and then my friend, so I was like kind of listening to like more guitar-y things with my little starter Stratocaster that my dad bought me. And then my friend, I think I was like in year 5 in an IT lesson, my friend was like, "Have you heard of this band called Slipknot? They wear funny masks." And I was like, "That sounds really cool." So we looked at them on Google Images. I bought their first album probably like that weekend, and I just used to go to sleep listening to it at night, being like, "Oh, this is really nice." And it's just like, well, like, you know, like, "Hey, fuck you all, fuck you," like all this stuff. It's like playing like my little CD player. And then I don't know, it's just kind of evolved or devolved from there, really. Yeah. There's a lot of other bands along the way. Like, thankfully, I found the likes of like Deftones and, you know, like Mastodon, Killswitch Engage, stuff like that. That was all like, yeah, from about like the end of school. And then, yeah, like I said, it's just kind of taken from there, really.
Something, Nathan.
So I, like most rock stars, started my musical journey playing the cornet. Yeah, I learned to play the cornet when I was like maybe 5 or 6, and really enjoyed it, to be fair. And then when I went to secondary school, it kind of dawned on me that maybe the cornet isn't the coolest thing going. So I made friends with Ollie, the singer, and another friend of ours at the time, and we all kind of agreed, like, "Oh, we should start a band. None of us play any instruments. We should start a band." And we need to agree on who's going to play what. So I was like, right, okay, sweet. I would very much like to play guitar. So Ollie said he would learn bass, and then the other guy was kind of begrudgingly going to learn to play the drums. And then I came into school on Monday, and Ollie and our friend had both decided that they were going to learn guitar and bass, and that I had to learn the drums. So I was kind of duped into learning the drums. And I was the only one out of the 3 of us that stuck it out, like, for the first bit. Ollie, like, later went and got lessons in guitar again, but I, from the get-go, like, stuck it out and kept playing drums. So I was kind of tricked into it a little bit. And then just as we kind of went along, like my dad's a big metalhead. He's really into like thrash and a little bit of prog, and he's got a great taste, and so does my mum. To be fair, like I owe them a lot in terms of my musical taste. My dad would make me like little mixtapes with things he thought I'd like on it. So like, I remember the first one being like Linkin Park, System of a Down, Slipknot, POD, Limp Bizkit, stuff like that, like those kind of vibes. So I would listen to those and try and learn to play things on the drums, and I was so shit for so long, and then got less shit after a while, and joined that band with Alex, and just kind of hopped between a couple other bands, I've had the good fortune to kind of jump in, like sessioning for a couple of people, which is cool. And then I think after doing that, I kind of wanted to do my own thing and get properly into playing the guitar. So Forager was like really me properly trying to learn the guitar. Like I could play a little bit beforehand, but hadn't really sat down and been like, I'm gonna practice. It was just like badly playing Protest the Hero riffs for 5 years. So yeah, that's kind of it for me, I suppose.
Do you still keep up with the drums then?
Yeah, so I play at the minute. I'm playing drums in kind of like a post-punk band called Chicken Man and the Bad Eggs. Shout out the Bad Eggs. That's kind of like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like the Fall and the Sex Pistols, and the Ramones. It's a bit weird. It's all very tongue in cheek, and it's very eggy, and it's good. It's good fun. I've got practice with them in literally like an hour and a half, so I'm excited about that.
Okay. I love the mixtapes from the parents. If my dad had ever got round to making me a mixtape, it would have been full of stuff like Kenny Rogers and Christy Berg and stuff like that. So I wish we could have swapped.
I don't know. That sounds all right. Time and a place.
I guess as well from a parent side of it, when I talk to a lot of people on the podcast, a lot of people are like, yeah, parents are very supportive, but they don't like the music. But I guess for yourself, Nathan, I guess they're front row, and maybe even in a mosh, I'm taking it from.
Yeah, I am incredibly fortunate. Like my mum has come to loads of shows. My dad,
if it were up to him, away.
He would have been there. He would have been at every single show. Like he's only missed one or two, and I think that's for like train strikes and stuff like that, like things where he really would be there. So I am really, really fortunate and thankful that my parents are as supportive as they are and as into it and stuff. Like it's very.
Someone's knocking at my door, but feel free to carry on.
Sorry. No, we'll just chat amongst ourselves while you going to sort it out. Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel very lucky that they're into it and get it. And I also think like I wouldn't really be as into it if they weren't into it. You know, like listening to my dad talk about Metallica and Rush and all this stuff as kind of passionately as he does. I don't think that kind of passion would have been instilled upon me had he not been like that. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Alex, you touched on the fact that your first kind of attraction to heavy metal music was from The Simpsons, and that was that literally the first bit, or was there something before that? Was that the first ever kind of interaction with metal you had?
Well, let me think. I think the closest probably, like because my dad, he got me really into like listening to say. Like his bands were like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix and stuff. And then I think he had one Black Sabbath album. I cannot remember what it was, but he played me War Pigs once. I remember thinking I was probably about 5 or 6 when my parents say, like, I wish I could say it was like of my own motivation, but I just wanted to play Spyro and they wanted me to play piano. So it was like I had to play piano to then play Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. But I remember there would be times where he'd be a bit like, so I didn't really know music. It was just what I could hear on TV, like I said before, the radio. But there was once, I think my dad sat me down and he put like a random Sabbath album on it, or it could have even been like a compilation, I don't know. But he played me on War Pigs. I remember thinking like, oh, that sounded. It was like the big long intro that I really liked, and then I always forgot the rest. But yeah, like it was when I watched, like I said, I'd heard like Hendrix, I'd heard Sabbath, but then it was that Flaming Moe's episode that changed it all. I don't know, I just heard Walk This Way, and then it was like the credits song Young Lust. I remember thinking like, oh, this is like really, really cool. But it was and even when I was saying about Iron Maiden as well, what's even really cooler is that it wasn't like the album The Number of the Beast. It was actually my mum bought from Sainsbury's once. I just came home from school, and on my bed it was like she bought from Sainsbury's. It was like just the best of heavy metal, and it had things like Ace of Spades. Actually, and I used to watch The Young Ones as well. Actually, I completely forgot. Yeah, and I used to watch The Young Ones as a kid, and it was that episode when they're trying to catch a train for University Challenge, and Motorhead play Ace of Spades. So I guess like I also heard that, like, and so I think she bought me this CD because Ace of Spades was like the first track on it, and then I think track 2 was, or I think can't remember what track 2 was, but track 3 was Number of the Beast, and and then on the other CD was Run to the Hills. So yeah, that was when I sort of was like, wow, like metal, wow, this is so cool. And then like I said, it got into Slipknot, and then yeah, but Dad didn't really like Slipknot much. It was a bit angry. Same with, I think over the years from about like 9 years old, I think the first time I could sort of sit with my mum and like listen to an album that I had bought that we both liked together was the debut Evanescence album, because it was like, there's a few piano songs in that. My mum was like, oh, I quite like this one. Kind of sounds like the Beautiful South if I sort of squint a bit,
Yeah.
That Slipknot album though did change the kind of landscape of music, really, didn't it? It was something completely fresh. I remember picking it up, and I literally bought it for the cover. I hadn't really heard of them, and was in HMV, and it was there, and I was just mesmerized by the masks, and I was like, you know what, I'll try it. And I remember putting on thinking, this is completely different, and I've been a big Slipknot fan ever since.
Sick. Yeah, obviously, like you said, you watched them at Download as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Slipknot really good. Like that first album, like I said, it was kind of a weird one because it's like I don't think I would have listened to it had I known, but it was just the Funny Mask, like that was just what sort of clicked in my brain for it. So I guess it shows that the visuals are important when it comes to
definitely.
All.
Nathan, obviously you touched on the fact that your parents were kind of metalheads and stuff, but what was your first kind of real memory of being introduced to metal music then, or heavier music, should we say?
I guess it's kind of a weird one. I have vivid memories of when I was a little baby boy, and my dad would listen to System of a Down, and it would make me cry. Because it was weird. And I would hide behind the sofa and I would scream for it to get turned off. So maybe
things changed.
Yeah, how things
I was gonna say, do you still do that, or
oh yeah. It's just no one's there to turn it off. I just have to wait for the song to play out. Yeah, so I do remember that. I think the first time I ever heard like metal music and rock music, and I was like, whoa, this is sick. Like, again, it was my dad playing Eruption on his guitar, and just seeing him like doing the taps and going crazy. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then that kind of just sent me off just into the world of like rock music again, like listening to going through his CDs, listening to stuff. I remember buying him Follow the Leader by Korn when that came out from like a little record shop near us. And I took it home and opened it and listened to it, obviously, and then gave him this like, opened gift. And I remember listening to that and being like, this is sick. This is so good. So yeah, I guess that's it really. It's mainly down to my dad, almost exclusively. Like, yeah, just my dad.
Good old Jimmy.
Good old Jimbo.
We all used to do that though. We all used to buy CDs as presents and take them out before giving them out,
Yeah.
and then maybe even cheekily record them on a cassette tape just so you've got a copy of it as well.
Yeah. Oh man, none of that anymore.
Is it that? No, you just get it straight away, don't you? Now it doesn't. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Going into the music now, and so if I'm right in saying Converse, it'll be your 8th track coming out.
Yeah, the 8th.
Since 2021.
Yeah, this will be the 8th song that we've got on Spotify. Yeah.
So with your with your first song being The Worst Minute of My Life coming out in 2021, and then obviously Converse, how do you feel your sounds developed then since that original track back in 2021, and now obviously you were saying that you're touching on the fact that you've kind of learned the guitar more while you've been with Forager. What's the kind of like the development there?
I think for the other stuff, so I think we all see it as like those 5 tracks are their own little things. So Worst Minute, Roach, Temper, Brain Dead, and The Trouble, they're very much like, they were kind of our transitioning period, us figuring out how we want to write, what we enjoy writing, what kind of band we're trying to be now that we're not trying to be like a whittle twiddle math rock band. I think this new stuff, like the tracks for like the new EP Who Wants It, that's out this Thursday, because this Thursday is the Monday of next week for us now in real life.
Just confuse everyone
either way.
Yeah. So new EP Who Wants It's coming out this Thursday, which is wicked. The day before our Radar set, which is also wicked. So I think the main difference with these ones is we've definitely just kind of honed in on this kind of like groove. I don't want to call it like, this very groove centric, riff centric approach to kind of like new metal, hardcore, a little bit of, say there's kind of a little bit of kind of like that Deftonesy, shoegazy vibe in there, but not tons of it. And I think just generally just kind of allowing it to be funny and just having fun with it. Both Alex and I come from that kind of tech world, the tech metal scene, and everything's very serious over there. Or at least it was when we were kind of growing up in it as like young musicians. Everything was very serious. And if you weren't taking it seriously, you were like a joke parody band. So there was no middle ground of just normal bands having fun being in a band. You were either deathly serious and live it like willing to die at any given moment for your riffs, or you were an actual joke band. Whereas nowadays, I think there's a lot more room for that fun, and obviously that fun is everywhere anyway. But I think for us, and especially me, this EP feels very funny. It feels like we're just putting things in because it makes us laugh, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing to do when writing music, I think.
The new track Converse, which is out now. Because it's Monday and it's been Thursday. It's out now. Just what's the story behind that track, and explain it for new listeners, what they can expect.
You want to go, Alex? Or do you want me to go?
You take this one.
So Converse is kind of like, it's a little less heavy than the other ones. It's more for the Turnstile listeners out there. This is kind of like our Blue Bayou, or like that track on the album that's a little bit more mellow and is kind of, just, I think Ollie and I write lyrics a lot of the time together, whereas this is a song that's been almost exclusively written by Ollie, which is nice. So I think it's a lot of him working through ideas of like change, working through ideas of growth. I think at the time he'd recently moved, like he'd moved from his hometown, well, our hometown, to Manchester. And I think, to me, I interpret a lot of the lyrics as him moving from that place somewhere new and starting again and processing those things. So I think a lot of the lyrical content is about that, really. At least from my perspective. I could be very wrong. If Ollie were here, he'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, but the way I've interpreted it is that. So we'll go with that. But that's the joy of music. That's art. It's
definitely.
you can interpret.
It's like Dave Grohl once said: the magic is singing a song to 75,000 people and getting 75,000 songs sung back to you, completely different songs sung back to you.
Yeah,
and it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Some magic in music. One of the main reasons you're here, obviously, is the Radar Festival. That will be the weekend of the 28th, 29th, and 30th in July, the end of this month. So I think when this comes out, it'll be 2 weeks away.
Wait a minute. I got it wrong. I said the EP is going to be out this week, which it is because today's Monday. But Radar's next.
So today is Monday the 17th.
Yeah.
So your Converse comes out the Thursday before
last week,
and then it'll be the weekend.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No,
I'm confusing matters for the listeners, by the way.
No, I did that. That was me. Converse came out last week. EP's out this week. Radar is
this week
because today is.
See, Monday. I took that when you were talking about it that was the right anyway. That Thursday was the EP.
Never trust me.
We'll get that. What I'll do is, just to ensure, I will put all the dates in the bio for the podcast. Yeah, so if we're unsure, if you get confused by myself and Nathan, just go and check out the description in the podcast.
Respect the caption.
Yeah. To decide for which timeline we're in, you have to look at our facial hair length.
And it'll be confusing people when they come back and listen to this in about 3 months' time because they just won't have a clue what day it is. Really,
it's all out. It's all been done.
It's all been done.
Monday all the time.
So Radar Festival, you're playing the Friday, aren't you? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So big day because you probably got one of the most
sleepy days
sought after bands headlining that day, and I don't want to go on too much about them because we're here to talk about you, but it must be a bit of a trip. This band that have completely blown up in the last 6-7 months, and
it was crazy when I saw that when we got announced as the openers, and it just seemed to be a coincidence, didn't
it? Yeah.
No coincidences at all.
Mental. Yeah, it is Sleep Token's like a mad one because I remember when they started. In like
Thread the Needle
in like a little Facebook group chat, and someone just put it in and was just like, "Here's a band, here's a new band," and it was that Thread the Needle. It was called, I think, and it's all like spooky. He's like stroking an apple and doing some stuff in the video, and it's all whatever. And they were kind of going for a while, and it's always been well received, I think. But TikTok, man, like they released that.
I think that, and I think this new EP as well has been it has been really good, a well written kind of piece of music as well.
Yeah,
mixed with the kind of mixed with the fact that they've managed to keep their secretive kind of persona in a world where we don't very rarely keep it, with social media everywhere and everyone wants to. But anyway, enough of Sleep Token. They were demasked like 3 years after. Was it something like 3 years after they came out? And there was always rumors from the date they came out.
Yeah, true. No, they've done incredibly well.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So what are you guys excited for the festival yourselves? It's a hometown gig, so I'm guessing a lot of friends, family, and fans of you already will be there.
I hope so.
So it's brilliant for Manchester, it's brilliant for Manchester as well. Radar. I'm from Southport myself, so I'm only down the road. I love Manchester. I'm from Nottingham originally, and the closest I get to kind of like feeling back in Nottingham, I find Manchester. It's a very mixed kind of city of cultures and different kind of people, really. You know, whereas kind of like you go to Liverpool, it's very kind of the same. Whereas Manchester, you walk down every kind of street, and it's very different kind of people and a different vibe completely. And that's why this music comes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got loads of time for Manchester. I think Radar's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. We've been fortunate enough that we played last year, and then we were asked to play again this year, which is obviously very nice to be wanted back. I think last year when we played, we were a little worried because we're a little bit of an outlier. I think we got booked initially because we were a tippy tappy whittle twiddle kind of math rock band, and then because of COVID, it got postponed, and then they kind of like kept us on the bill, but we turned into a different band with no time signature changes, with no big brain activity, only riffs and shouting. So, which I was a little bit worried. I was like, oh shit, are people just gonna think we're just kind of like some weird band? But yeah, people were vibing with it. We had a really good time last year. I think we're going to have a very good time this year. The lineup this year is crazy. The lineup this year is great. There's some.
It's great.
I'm very excited for Igor.
Igor, yeah.
I love Igor so much, and I know you love Igor as well. Actually, Alex, that's going to be very good.
There's a lot of there's a lot of focus on emerging bands as well, like yourself and that. There's a lot of good. And to be honest with you, when I was talking to the organisers, Ash, Catherine, and Joe, on the podcast which comes out on Wednesday,
2 days from now.
they actually 2 days from now, when we were talking about emerging bands, your name was one that came up as one that they were all very excited about seeing again this year. So you definitely got the organisers on your side on this one. They are obviously big fans of you guys.
Yeah, I mean they're all dear friends as well. So Forager outed as a nepotism baby, I suppose. But no, I've been friends with Ash for a long time. Like before he started the festival, and then I've met like Catherine and Joe through that friendship, and they're all great. And it's crazy, like how much the festival's grown and what they've managed to achieve with it in the small amount of time they've been running it. So yeah, it's wicked. It's wicked to be a part of it and wicked to watch it grow. And even better that you get to kind of watch your mates do it, like see regardless friends achieve nice things is good.
Yeah, I think it's also an amazing venue as well. It's one of my favourite venues to go to, Victoria Warehouse, and to be able to put 3 stages in there and 2 stages, sorry, and then the masterclasses that they're doing and all that kind of stuff as well. It shows that they've got a really good venue for what they're doing. You don't have to worry about the weather. You can go as a download for me when I was there is I struggled in that heat for the whole 4 days. It was just horrendous once you got in the arena. Whereas in there, you've got your shades, you've got that, and if it's pouring down like British weather does, you don't have to worry about that as well.
Nope.
So
man,
great venue.
Very excited to check out that.
So if someone's tuning into the podcast now and they've not heard of you guys before, what can they expect if they were going to Radar Festival? What can they expect from your performance, and what describe yourself, sell yourselves to a new audience that are going to come to Radar and come to your stage that day?
Alex is our go.
Funny stuff.
Go on, Alex. Give us a proper one.
Bit of shouting, some riffs. They make a scene. Drums. They play in time. It's going to be a good little time, you know. You will be moving. That is a threat. You will be moving.
Do you encourage fast mosh pits then?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Moshing is the best thing ever. Kicking and punching is so much fun.
Join us on the stage.
Get on the stage, get back off the stage, then get back on the stage. I was at Outbreak like 2 weeks ago, so I'm very much still feeling like kicking and punching and running and jumping.
Lots of jumping.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we love a mosh. We love a two-step. We love a twoie. Yeah, just high energy. We're quite high energy boys. Lots and lots and lots of undiagnosed ADD in the band. So yeah, we definitely kind of hit it when we're playing live. It's a big thing for us, just having that energy and plus, again, going back to that point of like taking yourselves really seriously. Kind of something we really hold ourselves to is like, man, we cannot expect anybody in that crowd to start having fun and relinquish their inhibitions if we're not doing the same on stage. There's so many bands that get on stage and they'll be in all black and very serious. They'll be like, I am not going to move a single inch for this performance because I am a vessel for my super serious music, not a call out to Sleep Token. This is a call out to you, Sleep Token. Might be. But yeah, I think sometimes, people just taking it really seriously, and it's something that we've all made a very conscious effort to be like, man, we can't expect people to jump and mosh and do stuff if we are not jumping and moshing and doing stuff. Like you get what you give, so we just
that kind of energy was literally like we'd written like back when we were the math rock band playing these super hard songs with all these super demanding, like if you get one note wrong you've ruined the song,
super hard for us, bear in mind.
Yeah, so twinkle twinkle. But like the very first show, it was like all that sort of, okay, I better make sure I like tap this right, all that went out the window, and I just wanted to, like, we'd never really spoke about it either. Like we were never like, oh, make sure we do this together, guys, we need to synchronize. It was just, we just kind of literally,
you all just started going mental,
just spluttered out. Like it was just I'm still in food poisoning mode, sorry. But yeah, it just came out like is, and then I don't know, that's never stopped. Like from way back then to hit where we are now, like the music has had a journey, but the mosh is forever.
Yeah, that's right, Alex.
So you guys are quite high energy. Music's high energy. You guys seem to be quite high energy. Is there any kind of craziness on stage, accident-wise, that so far? Have you had any?
Ollie does stuff to himself quite a lot. Like he'll bash it. He's got
his own mic.
Yeah, with his own mic. Nice. So he just hits himself in the face a lot with that. I think Ollie's yet to figure out when he sees other vocalists on stage hitting themselves in the head with a mic, what they're actually doing is they're holding their mic but hitting with their hand. So you do this, so it doesn't hurt as much. Ollie, I don't think has quite figured that out, and every time he does it, clearly he forgets for some reason.
Probably because he's doing that he's forgetting.
Yeah. And he just goes grill to the forehead.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. That's pretty gnarly when he does that. What else has happened? Does that time, was it me or you, like kicked him into someone's rig? We were playing a show, and it was like the touring rig, and it was full of like Axe
Kempers
and like nice fancy stuff.
It looked like a spaceship.
And I think I walked over to Wally and just gave him the boot and just sent him flying into that. And luckily, he just kind of climbed it and was just stood on top of it, but didn't actually hit it. But had he not managed to kind of scale it as dexterly as he did, he would have just knocked it over and we would have been fucked. Like, actually fucked. We'd still be paying that off now. So there's definitely been a couple of interactions where we've been like, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Giddy toddlers.
Yeah, we need to rein it in a little. But yeah, we're usually okay. We're usually pretty good for it, aren't we?
Some level of control, yeah, kind of.
I don't think anyone's ever been...
nerves.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever been seriously injured.
No, not yet. Depends how high the stage is at Radar.
Yeah.
We'll think.
So, well, wait. Previously on the podcast, we had, I don't know if you know Bruise Control, who are a fellow Manchester band.
Yeah.
So we had
Love
Jim
those
on, and
guys.
he told us how when he was supporting Emil and the Sniffers,
Yeah.
he was quite nervous. It was one of the first ones, nerves had hit him to the point where he actually shit himself before he went on stage in his pants. So he had to he told us how he had to scrape it out just before going on stage. And that, does nerves gets to you guys? It's like bad.
Well, he plays entire
Just,
shows in those tighty whities as well. So fair play to him. Like, good on him. I mean, that's very GG, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was more concerned because I had a selfie with him afterwards.
What's that?
I had a selfie with him afterwards, so I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks for that."
Yeah.
And he told me the story.
Oh man, yeah, got a lot of time for Bruise Control. Got a lot of time for those boys.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten, like, I'm usually the Mr. Stress and Anxiety when it comes, like, I've always had really bad stage fright, like even since like school hall, like summer performances and stuff where I had to play the most basic song on piano or guitar. I've always been like beforehand, and I still, even if we're playing like a room to like 5 or 10 people to like playing, I don't know, like Gulliver's or something when we sold that out last December, like I still get the big nerves, and I'm sure it hit me pretty well for Radar last year. It's definitely going to do the same, especially knowing I'm playing in the same place that I've seen like Gojira and stuff play in. But I'm very, I think once we actually start and I just look over to usually my stage right to see like Nathan and Ollie and our drummer Farron, like just seeing what they get up to. And I've usually got Matt, our bassist, on my left, and it's like I just look to those guys. I remember Ollie said that once. He's like, I just have so much fun by looking at Ollie was saying, watching what we get up to just makes it so much more fun for him, and he like feeds off that. And since he said that to me, it just like all those sort of nerves. I'm just like, I'm on a stage with my 4 best mates, like you know, like I'm the 5 of us up here together is like we're the shield. We are the shield, and it's like shield up, and you know, like it just, all those sort of nerves just go away, because like some funny stuff has happened on stage before, but it's just like it's all fine, it's all good, it's just a good laugh.
Am I wrong in thinking that it's probably more nerve-wracking doing a gig for a handful of people than a big crowd of people? Because as someone who's been in both, I feel like I have to be invested when there's only a few of you, and I have to be watching you completely. So I'm not relaxing when I'm on my own, but when I'm in the crowd, you get involved. So the band are getting involved and feeding off your energy. So yeah, am I right in thinking that?
100%, man. Like, I think it just, for me, it just kind of heightens that feeling of, if we're on stage in those gigs, unfortunately, we've not really had those for a while, which is a very nice feeling. But we have played some fucking stinkers. And the hard part with that is, you walk out and there's 5 people there. It's this big dichotomy of emotion where it's like, on the one hand, I'm really sad and really disheartened that there's no one there, because that does hurt. Like, it hurts the ego, and no one on the planet can say like, oh no, I'm just doing it for the love of it, and it doesn't matter how many people are there. Because if that were the case, you'd just sing your songs in your bedroom and you'd never show anyone. Yeah, there's always an element of pride. But on the other hand, and I think more strongly, is like, the amount of gratitude I have felt to those people in those smaller crowds is so heightened, because you're like, oh my God, like, you're an actual person, you've actually come to this, and I'm so thankful. And I find that those smaller shows tend to be the ones where I go more mental, because I'm kind of like, I need to make this as fucking batshit as possible.
Sure for that.
Just as like a, well, you know what? If there's not going to be that many people here, we might as well make it fucking as good as it physically can be. It's easy when there's a lot of people, because that amount of energy in one place just creates good energy. You know, like if you're in a little tiny room with like a couple hundred people and it's packed and everyone's up for it, easy gig. You don't need to think about that. Like a little room with like a smattering of people, I feel like you have to be on it with that. You have to be really on it and giving it properly.
Yeah. Especially if you're like part of that crowd and it's like you want to see like a smallish band, and you really go there and you see there's only like 6 other people. You probably spend so many car rides or times in the gym or in like your room just like moshing out to this band, and you go there and there's like 6 other people and you stood there a bit like, and I really want to move, but like
and
that
there's
sucks.
Nothing worse than when you're at those gigs for a band that you like and the other small amount of crowd that's with you isn't into it. That's kind of okay. When you look at the band and they're not into it because the crowd isn't what they want, like, get fucked. That's my other feeling too, is like, if you can stand on stage and look out at 10 people and be actually ungrateful enough for it to detract from what you're trying to do, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Well, you could just go whole hog and do a royal blood and not be happy with a crowd of 10,000 people at BBC Radio introducing.
Yeah, don't know what that was about, but
weird.
Yeah, weird vibes.
I love royal blood as well. I really wasn't expecting that. It was a bit like they'd shut the dummy out of the pram because it wasn't the audience they were expecting. But I don't know what you're expecting from a BBC crowd.
That was
You know, in between the 2 artists you're in between as well. He was in between like Niall Horan and Lewis Capaldi. Was it Lewis Capaldi?
Yeah.
You know, 2 artists that are completely different from the songs that you're singing. So the crowd that are already there are not for you because they've got there early from Lewis Capaldi. So it's such a shame, but you know, it's sport their kind of reputation on the mainstream kind of side of it.
Yeah. People are talking about them, I guess. So.
Yeah. Before we go into the final part of the podcast, the up close and personal bit, I just want to talk about one other festival that you're doing. You're coming over to Liverpool for the No Play Festival on the 5th of August. That again is another great festival for emerging bands, and the company that are running it, No Play, are massive in Liverpool at the moment in promoting these great new bands, and especially heavier bands as well. How did that come about, you getting on that,
Alex?
Well, Ted, I think it used to be called Ted Fest actually back in the day.
No, that's just what we called it.
I'm sure apparently it used to do like big all day. No Play used to do big all day festivals around Ted, but either way, Ted was our booking agent, and he. We've been, how long have we been with him now? Since last July?
So we were with Marshall live for a little bit, and then some stuff happened in Marshall HQ, and then now we're not with Marshall live.
I completely forgot about Marshall.
And it wasn't our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't.
Can we not elaborate, or is it no? Fair enough.
Denied.
The hidden wall.
Anyway, Ted was our booking agent there. And then Ted moved on after the thing. Ted moved on to Boneyard, who, I don't know if you know Boneyard, they run Burn It Down Festival as well.
I've heard of the Burn It Down, didn't know Boneyard,
Yeah. So Ted went to them, we went with Ted, stayed on his roster, and then Ted obviously has his promotion company with like Adam and Grant and all the No Play lot. And this year's the first year they're doing like the No Play Fest. So yeah, the lineup for that's crazy. Super stoked to be on it. So many of the bands are so good and new, and it's just wicked. Like you've got Lorien, you've got Death Goals, you've got obviously Higher Power, one of the bigger bands, but very stoked on that. I think who else is playing? Super Lover playing. We played a show with those a couple of weeks ago. That was wicked. Lovers Noise are playing. They're very cool. Yeah, loads. Almost Conjurer are playing, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
You've got Knife Bride there on as well. And then one of the bands for me who could possibly be album of the year from an emerging band, Graphic Nature.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Their album is out of this world. I've had them on the podcast as well, and they're great guys. But that album just kind of blew me away. It's so fresh and so new. It's just really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, missed them at download. So like, I've been really excited to see them.
We had a clash. I can't remember what they were clashing with, but they were clashing with something
Lorna
else.
Shore.
Oh really? Damn.
Because I missed Lorna Shore to go and see Graphic Nature. I picked Graphic Nature over Lorna Shore because I thought in the end I'll probably go and see Lorna Shore again at some point.
Yeah, well, I was just like, since we're gonna see them at No Play, I'll go and watch Lorna Shore. So we're gonna catch them later. So I'm very, 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 very stoked to see that. Yeah, that's gonna be great, man. Like a little one day at Liverpool, so it's not too far away. We're on nice and early, so we can get nice and pinted afterwards. It's gonna be great.
I'm not far to travel back home as well.
Yeah.
Not worth that part yet. Hitchhike, you know.
All right, so we'll go on to the up close and personal part of the podcast. So no pressure now. Just some quick fire easy questions at you guys. I'll start with a very easy one for you. What was the first album you ever bought or downloaded?
Follow the Leader by Korn for my dad.
Always in the Attic, Aerosmith. For me.
Nice. Both good, great albums. If you got the chance to sit on a bench for an hour with one person in the whole of history, who would you take that hour with?
That went from an easy question
to
the hardest question. One person for an
While you're thinking, I'll tell you about my last week's podcast. I had a band called Rage Doll. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
And Aiken said to me, his choice was the day before he'd met a guy in a fried chicken shop who was serving him chicken who was quite interesting, so he chose him. And it was the biggest curveball I've ever had in my life because I was expecting like all the minds of history. I was expecting that, but it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was thinking band related for a second. Now you said history, I just feel like a bit. Yeah, there's a lot of figures out there. Like,
yeah, man. That's fucking mental. Bench for an hour. Maybe. I'm reading Rick Rubin's book at the minute. So maybe him. I'm gonna go for Rick Rubin. I'm gonna sit cross-legged on the bench with Rick Rubin. He's gonna stroke his beard and tell me why I'm bad. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great hour for me.
I probably would have. It's probably a bit obvious from the show, but I probably would have said Peter Steele because tour. Like, I just want to hear tour stories. I just want to hear more about like the old like 80s, 90s Brooklyn hardcore and like metal scene back then, and yeah, just share a big bottle of red with him or something. Yeah, just be sick. Me and Peter making my fiance Ella. Yeah, exactly. That's what it'll all lead to. Sorry, Ella.
Yeah, I'm
sorry,
sure
it can't be you. Exactly.
If you found yourself on death row, what would your death row dinner be?
Surf and turf, sirloin steak. No, fillet steak with not the big fat, like not king prawn. Like I know everyone sees like a load of king prawns on the plate and they're like, whoa, but there's so much faff. There's so much greasy-handed faff. Like I just need the meat straight away. So either if someone's already de-shelled all of them for me, or you just give me the prawn tails and just do them real nice with some like garlic butter and chili. Yeah, a good surf and turf, some nice like rosemary potatoes, and maybe a bit of tender stem. No sauce, I'm all right for a sauce, just a lot of garlic butter. It's not like I missed out or anything.
There was no hesitation on that. You were straight in with the answer to that question. How are you having your steak cooked?
Since the fillet, probably It's hard. Medium rare would be really good flavor, but I do like it rare. So yeah, rare.
Yeah. I'm washing it down with.
Ooh. Probably a fantastic rum and coke for after, but throughout it, just a nice glass of water.
Shit. Greg's.
What about you, Nathan?
Love a Greg's.
What you having from what you having? Just the whole of Greg's or anything in particular?
I'll have one of everything from Greg's.
Well, I'd
And
have
I'll
to
eat
get
all
the
of it, and
seasonal
they
one
can
as well.
wait. They can fucking wait.
Yeah, the festive bake, to be fair. Rethinking my
If I had
choice
to
now.
pick only a couple things, I'd probably get one of those chicken and bacon subs that they do, because they're wicked. I love those little guys.
Love that little guy.
I love a cheesy bean bake. I love a chicken bake. Cheese and onion pasty is my all-time favourite, because I remember I would go downtown with my mum and she would buy a cheese and onion pasty and she'd break it in half and we'd share a cheese and onion pasty. So that's like a real nice sentimental answer.
Yeah, I like that one.
The cookies I'm not too fussed on. I would have Greg's, but I would swap out the Greg's cookies with Tesco cookies. Ah man, they are my vice. I could literally eat fucking 1 million of those cookies. So yeah, that's my answer.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
If Forager could collab with one artist alive, not dead, who would it be?
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst. Yeah, Fred. We kind of made friends with Fred Durst earlier this year. Which
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because of TikTok. We put like a TikTok up and it did all right. Some people saw it, and one of those people was Fred Durst, and he reached out and was like, "Hey, like the stuff. Do you want to come to the Manchester show?" And we were like, "Yes, please, Mr. Durst."
Yeah.
So yeah, we went down and met him and just was like hanging out with him for a little bit, chatting, and he seems like a really nice guy. Seems like just seems like a sound dude. So that would be cool. That would be nice. I think it'd be a good fit. So yeah, let's go with Freddie D.
Yeah. So, joint consensus, or are you someone different, Alex? If you could choose someone different, or
No, Freddie.
Yeah,
Goes back to Freddie
fair enough.
for the nookie.
For the nookie, man.
Right, you see, you've been put in charge of creating your own festival in your back garden. Who would you have as your 3 headliner acts?
You go first, Nath.
Should we do
From history?
All right.
From any, yeah.
Let's do one each, and then we'll both say the last one at the same time, and we'll see if we get the same one, and if not, then it's a super group of those 2 bands.
Okay.
I like the sound of that.
Friday, Deftones.
Nice.
Saturday, Black Sabbath.
Oh,
Sunday,
Sunday.
3, 2, 1. Alice in
Rage
Chains.
Against.
I really thought we'd have that then.
I thought we were.
So we've got a super group of Alice in Chains and was it
Rage.
9 Inch Nails?
Rage
Against
Against
the Machine.
That kind of fucks. That could be cool.
Yeah. Is that? I'm sure
Isn't
that's
that-
probably already a
That
super
already
group,
exists.
right?
Is that not audio? Who's Audio Slave?
Soundgarden. Well, Chris
Sound-
Cornell and Rage.
Chris Cornell and Rage.
So you either have Zombie Staley or you have Willem Duvall.
Both.
Yeah, with Zach. Yeah,
With
both.
Zach.
With Zach as well.
Yeah.
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 Let's have that. A super group of
I'd go to that.
Yeah, that'd be sick actually.
Deftones into Black Sabbath into
Oh,
that.
That'd be a killer of a festival. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick actually. Yeah, just them. No one
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's no such thing as like sub headliners or anything like that.
It's Forager every day. We do an opening.
Yeah.
You play for the 7 hours previously,
Yeah,
and
we
then they
play
just
for
close
7
it.
hours straight, and then you get
Yeah.
Deftones, and then 7. Oh, well, it'd be longer on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Like 10 hours Saturday, 10 hours Sunday.
We've got a bit of graft in us yet.
Cool, man.
Penultimate question. Sorry, go on.
No, it doesn't matter.
Penultimate question. If you could only listen to one artist for the rest of your life now, who would it be? So all other music has become extinct.
I sound like a broken record, but just off the top of my head, I'm still going to say Deftones, just because there's a lot of variety. I've got my slow jams, got my driving songs, got my Rage Cage songs, a few bouncy songs as well. Yeah, I'll probably think of something like as soon as I press end call on this, I'll be like, why? But yeah, for now I'm gonna go with Deftones. Like the most original man on the planet.
I don't know. That's a hard question.
It's hard for just one band.
One band, yeah, one band. What's one band?
It doesn't have to necessarily be a band. It can be an artist.
Okay.
So you could pick someone who probably transcends bands.
I guess the main one, I feel like the easy answer is like the Beatles. Because I feel like they kind of nailed it. Like, obviously, there's a lot of stuff they didn't do. Like, it's not like they're doing like fucking like the heavies.
John Lennon,
like,
John Lennon screaming.
Those John Lennon gutturals. So that would be one, maybe. Oh, but I'm not really that into the Beatles. I don't really listen to it that much.
Primus. It's obviously Primus. Les Claypool and all his various works. Rage Cage, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory soundtrack.
Yes, dude. I'm gonna go with Primus. I fucking love Primus. Primus
the best. Everyone in the band absolutely adores Primus, especially Ollie.
Ollie loves Primus in a big way.
No.
I love Primus. I legitimately
Primus
love
is
Primus.
sick.
Yeah, I love Primus.
Primus sucks.
Primus does suck. So yeah, Primus. I'll go with Primus. Absolute nightmare fuel.
The cat.
Final question. Final question, and it's the one that always stays a constant, so it's the one I never change, is if I was to create a heart-shaped box and you were to put one song in each that's going to be saved for future generations. So it's not necessarily a favourite song, it's something that you think is an important song, a landmark song. But I've started giving out themes, and I'm giving you a theme because it's to celebrate Radar Festival, and you're a Manchester band, and it's in Manchester. I want it to be from a Manchester-based band.
Ooh.
So that's going to make it a little bit trickier for you.
I need to remember the name of the song. I need to remember the name of the song real quick. Sorry.
No,
It's all right.
I think I've got an idea, unless I kind of want to hear yours, Nath.
Thin Ice by Guilt Trip.
Okay.
Yeah. Do it! Because it's just like sick. It's just sick hardcore. It's just sick hardcore. So yeah, Thin Ice, Guilt Trip, Manchester. 0161.
You go on, Alex.
See, I was thinking, I was going with like the more classic ones. I thought you say one chocky, like one chocolate song.
You can have it if you want to. I'll allow it if you've got two that you can't.
No,
pick
I'll go with one. I can't remember what the name of the song is though. It's not even like that big of a song, so I wouldn't say it's like historical importance. I'm really sorry, Manchester. But I was thinking, like, I've always listened, I think it's Hallelujah by Happy Mondays. Like, I remember when I first heard that was kind of like it was a bit late listening to it, but I remember thinking of it like, because I was listening to a bit of Oasis and Stone Roses and stuff, and Oasis I can enjoy. Mostly the second album, Morning Glory. Stone Roses isn't really my thing, but Happy Mondays, I don't know, it just got me listening to loads of like house music. and I watched like a thing to do, you know, like all the hacienda stuff and like that, and it was just quite crazy seeing like, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, Joy Division as well would probably be more sort of, because like with Joy Division, you know, you wouldn't have had like
they are a big
punk
one.
and post-punk and, you know what I mean, like Order, you know, there's so many webs
I'll
and
put
ways.
Control. I'll put Control in the box. I'll put a bonus Control in the box.
Yeah, I won my other bonus chocolate. What is it? Begins with an I, the Joy Division song. Oh, I need to find it. Sorry, I have to do this now.
It's all right.
The mechanical keyboard is out. Isolation, that one.
Isolation, yeah, I know which one.
But yeah, like Hallelujah, Happy Mondays, and Isolation, Joy Division are just, I don't know, those two, and then I'm not going to put it in the box, but Champagne Supernova with Supersonic, those 4 songs were like proper, just getting me through a bit of a. I was kind of stuck listening to a lot of, what was I listening to a lot of? It's so hard for me to remember like the most short-term stuff. Like right before, like after download, and leading up to download was like my black metal month, and then before that was like just the sort of happy house stuff, and then before that it was like lap steel country stuff. So you know, it's a bit hard to remember it all, but yeah, I'm gonna pick Hallelujah and Isolation, Happy Mondays, and Joy Division respectively, because I think they introduce a lot more genres than the listener goes in expecting. Yeah.
Just highlights how important Manchester is, doesn't it, for the music scenes over the years, and how many great bands, whether you're into them bands, like you mentioned a bit of the Stone Roses and stuff like that, whether you're into them or not, they have been very prolific in creating a scene and in creating music in Manchester.
I feel like because like I said, well, like Nathan said, Nathan and Ollie are like really like into the hardcore scene a lot, and I'm sort of kind of, you know, starting to, I've literally come in like knowing nothing, no one, and like High Vis were a band that really stuck out to me, because when I first heard the Talk for Hours song, I was just like, this is literally just like hardcore Oasis.
Yeah,
and then from there, and like I've just like bought the like pre-ordered the vinyl. We're gonna go see him. Like I bought tickets to see Turnstile anyway, but then when it said like High Vis was supporting Turnstile, I was like, this is an amazing, like I cannot wait. I've not seen either band. So yeah, I'm very excited. But yeah, like you said, it does show like how far like it's reached throughout all the past few decades and beyond, and further ahead. Will be the next.
Yes,
be
definitely.
like, oh, it's like a McLeish-esque songwriting in this one.
No, I don't know. I don't like
that. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I'll be seeing you in Manchester in a few weeks' time.
Yes, dude.
Let's see if we can get all the dates right. So when you're listening to this podcast, you can hear the song Converse, which has just been released on the Thursday. On this coming Thursday is the release of the EP. What was the name of the EP?
Who Wants It?
Who Wants It?
Who Wants It? So make sure, will there be a pre-saved link on your social medias?
Yes, sir.
That is right.
So there will be a pre-save link for the EP today, because it's Monday. Which is wicked. So yeah, pre-saves obviously help loads. Listening to it helps loads. Having a boogie at shows helps loads. Yeah, that's it. Just having fun.
Have you got a website with merch on and stuff like that for fans if they want to?
So we've got our links in all of our socials. If you go to like Forager UK at Instagram, go to Forager Band, I think it is on TikTok. Facebook, I think is Forager UK as well. I think the link can be on there. That'll take you to all the Spotify, Apple Music. I think all of our merch is up on Bandcamp at the moment. So yeah, plenty of stuff to see and do in Forager World.
And if you want to go and see Forager, they are going to be obviously appearing at the Radar Festival, which is the 28th, 29th, and 30th of July.
Yeah.
Weekend tickets are still available for that. Day tickets for the Friday look like they have sold out.
Sold
but
out.
You can get the
No, exclusive.
Go on.
Nope.
Oh,
Sorry, I was waiting for an exclusive. They're not sold out.
yeah, they have.
No, the Friday is sold out. Yeah, I'm
Friday's
saying that
sold
we're
out.
exclusive.
No, sorry. I thought you were saying to me, no, they haven't.
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm saying
no.
So,
We
yes, I was waiting for you to go. Actually, we can announce now. They've just released another
Forager.
10,000 tickets.
No.
If you use a Forager
Oh, no.
token at the
I'll
bar.
edit that bit out because that
Oh, your
looks so weird.
Forager books.
Yeah.
No, we were saying you can't go. You can't go on the Friday
yeah.
because it's sold out because we're playing.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's the only reason.
Yeah. But if you do want to go and see Forager, you haven't got a ticket, go buy a weekend ticket because not only do you get Forager on the Friday, you do get great bands like we mentioned earlier, Igor, Knife Bride, Graphic Nature, Crushed by Waves. There's loads to do. There's master classes going off at the thing as well. So it's not just all about the music. You can go and have question and answers with Periphery. There's so much going off for an all-in-one indoor event. And then if you can't manage to get to Manchester, you've also got the No Play Festival on the 5th of August, which is at the Invisible Wind Factory. And that, again, still has tickets available. So, go down and support your local emerging bands.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much again for giving up your time. I'll let you go. You mentioned that you had band practice after this, so I'll let you go and enjoy that. And enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in Manchester.
Can't wait, Adam.
Cheers, fellow.